Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. So I'm going to briefly describe this whole pastime that we have been reading in Bhagavatam, the Bharat Maharaj, his three lives, and then we'll go over the lessons learned. So it will be little repetition. Um, so Bharat Maharaj, he was a son of Lord Rishabh Dev, and who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And Rishabh Dev, he had 100 sons, out of which Bharat Maharaj, he was the best. So when Rishabh Dev retired, he made Bharat Maharaj as the king of whole of Bharatvarsh, and that's Bharatvarsh is named after King Bharat. And King Bharat, he ruled the earth and for about 10 million years. And he had a beautiful wife, children, friends, but all of that, after 10 million years, he gave up everything. Bhagavatam says, just as one gives up stool after evacuating. So we are not attached to our stool, right? So like that, he was not attached to anything. He became detached. He gave up everything and he divided his wealth amongst his sons, and he himself retired to a place called Pulha Ashram, which is at the banks of the Gandaki river, and that's where Shaligram Shilas are found. So he was living alone in Pula Ashram, and he was worshipping Lord Vishnu with whatever was available in the forest, like flowers, tulsi leaves, water, twigs, and like that. And he became very absorbed in his spiritual practices. And he was starting to experience this Ashta Satvika Vikara, which is like ecstatic crying, hair standing on end, voice choking up. All these symptoms were visible in him. So he was at the level of bhav. So there are 9 different stages in bhakti. It starts from Shraddha. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and final stage is Prem. So Bhav platform is the penultimate stage to attaining Prem, which is pure love for Krishna. So one day King Bharat, he was on the banks of the river Gandaki and he was chanting his mantras, and suddenly a female deer comes there and starts to drink water, and this deer was pregnant. So it heard there was a roar of a lion and it became very fearful and leaped across the river, and in midst of this it suffered a miscarriage, and so the baby deer fell down into the river, and this mother deer, it became very distressed from this miscarriage, and so in the nearby cave it left its body, so it died. So Bharat Maharaj saw all of this in front, everything was happening in front of him. So he saw this baby deer was floating in the river, and Bharat Maharaj became very compassionate and he picked up the baby deer and brought him to his ashram and started taking care of him. So, but he became so engrossed in taking care of this baby deer that he started to neglect his spiritual practices. And, Bharat Maharaj was thinking, now this poor deer is so helpless. It has taken shelter of me. I am everything for this deer. I'm its mother. I'm its father. So I will take care of him even at the cost of compromising my own spiritual practices. So even if he disturbs my sadhana, I will still protect the deer. That's what he was thinking. So as he was worshipping the Lord, at intervals he would get up because he was thinking about the deer. Maybe the deer, is he safe? So he would get up as he was doing his worship and meditation, and he would see where the deer was. And seeing the deer, he became satisfied and would bless the deer. So little by little, Bharat Maharaj, he began to forget his daily rituals, his sadhana, and at one time he completely left his sadhana. And he was always thinking of the deer. And one time deer went into the forest, and Bharat Maharaj became overwhelmed in feeling separation from the deer, feeling that it would be attacked by some tiger or something. So the time came for Bharat Maharaj to leave his body, and at that time he was lamenting in separation from the deer. He was thinking of the deer, and so Bhagavad Gita says, "Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajante antaklevaram." Whatever you are attached to, that you will remember at the time of death, and whatever you remember at the time of death, you will attain. So in the next life, Krishna awarded Bharat Maharaj a deer body. But because Krishna is so merciful, Bharat Maharaj had done bhakti. In the deer body, Krishna gave him human consciousness. So he was completely aware of his past life and how he had fallen down into this deer body. So this deer Bharat was more spiritually advanced than the king Bharat. The deer Bharat, he was absorbed in bhakti, and he left his mother deer and went to Pulaha ashram, and there he was living close to the sages, and he would hear the Hari Katha. He would eat only dry grass and was just waiting to give up his body. And in the deer body, he was repenting for his mistake. So, giving up his dear body in the next life, Bharat Maharaj got a birth in a Brahman family as Jad Bharat. And this Jad Bharat was more spiritually advanced than the dear Bharat. And this Jad Bharat was, he purposely acted himself as a dull headed personality, a deaf and dumb person. And his father used to teach him Brahmanical principles, but he presented himself as a fool that he can't understand those things. And his father would teach him that you should wash your hands before you after you go to the bathroom, but he would wash his hands before going to the bathroom. So like that he pretended himself as a fool. All of this he was doing so that he doesn't become entangled in emotions or creates attachments. He didn't want to repeat the same mistake that he had done when he was King Bharat. So then we hear about some dacoits who captured him and wanted to give him as a sacrifice to Kali. But Kali, because Jad Bharat was a great devotee, Kali became very angry, and um, she killed the dacoits with a chopper. While Jad Bharat did not protest any protest while he was being, while they were trying to kill him. So Jad Bharat, then we will see that he would later on meet King Rahugana, and he would preach to him. And finally, Jad Bharat gave up his body and he went back home, back to Godhead. So, very short summary of the three lives of Bharat Maharaj. So, we'll go over the lessons that we can learn from this pastime that we can apply in our life. So, the first lesson we can learn is what is real compassion. So, Bharat Maharaj, he became compassionate to the deer, but that caused his fall down. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Arjuna is feeling compassionate for his family members. He doesn't want to kill his brothers, his grandfather, his guru. But Krishna rejected this sort of compassion. So we cannot exhibit compassion blindly. So Prabhupada writes in the purport in Bhagavad Gita 2.1, it's there on the screen, that that material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nations cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. So if somebody is drowning, and if we just save their coat and pant, but the person drowns, is that something good that we have done? No. So just taking care of the body and material needs of a person is not real compassion, but elevating them spiritually, connecting them to Krishna, giving them spiritual knowledge is real compassion. Because everybody in this world is suffering because of their karma. They are in their situation because of their previous karma. We cannot change anybody's karma. So giving them some money or some food cannot change their material condition. But if we connect them to Krishna and they start chanting Hare Krishna, they start doing devotional service, their karma can change then, because Krishna can destroy their karma. So that is real compassion, is elevating people from material to spiritual consciousness is real compassion. So being kind to the deer was not wrong on the part of Bharat Maharaj, but giving it excessive attention and neglecting his own spiritual practices was the mistake that he did. So, Bharat Maharaj should have an understanding that, for the deer, it is impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness because deer is but an animal. So he should have taken care of the deer and just left the deer amongst other deers in the forest and be done with it. So another thing is that in order to save others who are drowning, we need to know swimming, right? So like in the aeroplane, they say that wear your own mask first, then put the mask for others. So we have to be very pakka in our sadhana. We have to be, we have to control our anarthas. We have to be very strict and sincere in our sadhana before trying to help others who are drowning. Otherwise, we will also drown with them. So that was the first lesson. Should I stop at each lesson and discuss, or we move on to the next lesson? Anybody has any comments?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, what do you think?
Yeah. Any comments from anybody on compassion? So yeah, you made a nice point about how.
Hare Krishna Matadi. I
Hi.
have a question. Um, okay, so Bharat Maharaj did take care of the deer. What would he would have done if he didn't want to get attached? You want to take care of the person, like like somebody is sick or dying or something like that, and you do get attached. What would you do?
Yeah, so that's what we said, that okay, taking care of the deer was not wrong, but neglecting his own spiritual practices. See, we have to do our sadhana. You are taking care of the person, but what does it mean to take care of the person? It's not just to take care of the material needs, but also to give them Krishna bhakti, Krishna consciousness. So, and then why should we become attached to anybody? I mean, we will see that he becomes a deer. So if we become attached to a person, then we have to take another life and be with that person in some form or the other. Why are we not attached to Krishna? We should be attached to Krishna. So I'll go over that attachment piece later on in a different lesson. But ultimately, we should be attached to Krishna, and we should see everybody as a spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna. Okay.
Yeah, so he should have seen the deer as a spirit
Okay.
soul. He got attached on the bodily platform, but he should have seen the deer as a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And of course, as in the deer body, as you were saying, they can't be elevated very much, but he could have chanted. When he was chanting, the deer would have heard the mantra, and then they would have gotten the spiritual benefit. And then, besides taking care of material needs of the deer, yeah, he should not have neglected his spiritual life. So, and another thing is that so many deer are being born in the jungle, right? And Bharat Maharaj does not know about each and every deer. So this deer happens to be like which he's seeing, and as you were saying that after some time he should have left them, the deer, in the company of other deers and like that, and then continued with his spiritual practices. Or if he had kept with him, he should not have been distracted. So from his okay, go ahead. I think you all said all these points.
Okay. All right. So lesson number 2 is that spiritual life is a razor's edge. So we memorize this verse from Kathopanishad. Uttishta jagrata prapya varana bodhita churasya dharya nishita duratya durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. Please wake up and try to understand the boon that you have now in this human form of life. The path of self realization is very difficult. It is sharp like a razor's edge. That is opinion of learned transcendental scholars. So if you are not attentive in using a razor, there could be a cut, there could be blood like that, or we somebody is driving on the car on the highway and they're little inattentive, there could be a big accident, right? We say casual means casuality. So if we are casual in our devotional practice, a little lapse on our part, it can derail us to a whole different direction. And that's what happened with Bharat Maharaj. He was very close to going back home, back to Godhead. He was on the Bhav platform, as we said. But he became attached to an insignificant deer, and the direction of his life changed. So, this verse is saying that we have gotten this opportunity of having a human body after many, many births in 8.4 million different species. This human birth is very rare, it's very valuable, and but it's very temporary. So, Bhagavatam says, Nardehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam maashritana mayanukulena nabasvitratam puman bhavamdhim naptaretsa atmaha. So this verse says that human body is very rare to achieve, and this human body is like a boat, a well constructed boat, and the captain of the boat is a spiritual master, and there are favorable winds that are moving this boat, which are the words of Krishna, the scriptures. So, considering all these advantages that we have gotten in the form of this human body, if one does not utilize his human body to cross over this ocean of nations, is certainly committing atmaha, means suicide. But Bhagavatam also says, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam shram bhangura tatrapi durlabha mane vaikuntha priya darshanam. The getting a human body is rare, but more rare than getting a human body is the association of devotees. So, congratulations to all of you that we have gotten the rarest of the rare, that we have gotten the highest in the form of devotee association. We have a temple, we have scriptures, we have the holy name, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made the process very easy for us in this Kali Yuga. This process of chanting, dancing, and feasting is very joyful process, and we are in the golden period of Kali Yuga, and we are very close to going back home, back to Godhead. What can be better than this? But now, if we become distracted in our sadhana, then aho dukkham maha dukkham dukkha duktaram yataha kachartham vismritam ratna harer nameva kevalam. Aho, what a sorrow, what a great sorrow, more painful than any other misery in the world. Mistaking it to be a mere piece of glass, people have forgotten this jewel. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. So whatever we get so easily, we don't put value on it, right? So we have gotten the holy name very easily. So it's a great sorrow considering it as a insignificant as a piece of glass. And although it is the most, the greatest jewel, that we should value it so much. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Durdeva midrishami hajani nanuraga. Your holy name can fulfill all, can render me all types of benedictions. And Krishna, you are so kind that you have given me this holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for it. So we should understand the value of what we have gotten, then we can use it properly. So like we say that one who receives this opportunity of Krishna consciousness is very fortunate. One who does not receive this opportunity is unfortunate. But one who receives this opportunity but then squanders it or doesn't take up the process very seriously is most unfortunate. So we have to be very attentive. And even while engaged in devotional service, we have to be very careful. So there are so many examples in the scriptures where somebody was engaged in devotional service, but still they fell down because of distraction. So can anybody give some examples of from scriptures where somebody was engaged in devotional service, but still they fell down? Yes. Mm-hmm. Sabari Muni, he committed an offense to a Vaishnav, Garuda, and that caused his fall down, where he developed material desires on seeing the fishes that were mating underwater, and he decided to leave his meditation and go marry 50 daughters of King Manata.
Vishwamitra also.
Yeah, Vishwamitra Muni was doing meditation. Menka came and he got distracted. Okay, what else?
Jamil also.
Yeah. Ajamil was in the forest getting flowers for his deities. That's where he saw the scene of the Shudra and Shudrani embracing, and he got distracted. Yes, who else? Okay, the fourth one I had was Kal Krishna Das. He was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the South India Yatra, and he got attracted by some woman, Bhattahari woman. Although Kal Krishna Das knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, he had seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heal Vasudev leper and convert all these Mayavadi sannyasis into devotees. So he knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord. Still, Maya is so strong. As Prabhupada writes in this purport here I have on the screen, this is purport from Kal Krishna Das pastime itself, that Maya is so strong that unless one is determined not to fall victim, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot give him protection. Even though a person may associate with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he can be allured by Maya and leave the Lord's company due to his slight independence. So the root cause of all fall down is in sorry. Yeah, correct. Correct. Ramchandra Puri also. Right. Madhavendra Puri, he committed an offense to his guru. Right. So the root cause of all fall downs is inattention. Inattentive chanting, inattentive with our devotional practices, inattentive with dealing with other devotees, committing offenses. So first we have to be conscious, then be Krishna conscious. So conscious of where our mind is, what am I doing? Then we can be Krishna conscious. Okay, so I'm done in this. If anybody wants to add on this lesson.
Yeah, like here it is correct, other than hair. So the only thing I would like to say is that the way you have presented in Krishna conscious way of devotion, it's the most correct, and only here it is right. In other sects, I've seen devotion, but it's very disorganized, and this is the very nice way to learn how to be spiritual.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So next lesson. Yes.
One thing I wanted to just add is
Yes.
like the way I think is when I chant, I say to myself, if I'm spending 1 hour in chanting, I am spending that time. So I have to make best use of it and be fully conscious about what I am doing. And that helps because then I am focused. Because I am already spending that time, so why not to make best use of it? So if we start thinking like that, we will be more focused. This is a very simple way to get more out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So the next lesson. There are 4 R's that lead to fall down. What are the symptoms that should alert us that I am falling down? And these are symptoms that Bharat Maharaj should have thought that it should have alerted Bharat Maharaj that he was falling down. So the first R is reduced sadhana. So being distracted by the deer, Bharat Maharaj, he decreased his sadhana. So like if he had taken some vows of maybe like chanting 16 rounds, he decreased it to 8 rounds or 4 rounds, like that. So this decrease of sadhana is a symptom of slipping. He became relaxed in following his regulative principles. We should be very strict in following 4 regulative principles, as well as with our sadhana, attentively chanting in the mornings and the Brahma Muhurat. Prabhupada says 90% of our spiritual advancement comes from chanting the holy name. And all our rounds should be chanted preferably in one sitting, in very alert and in a prayerful mood to Krishna. And we should not relax our principles like, no eating outside, no eating onion and garlic. So like This verse comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vishyara anna khaile maleen hoy man hoile nahi Krishna rasmaran. So when we eat food which is cooked by materialistic people, the mind becomes contaminated, and when mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna. So we should be very strict in our following our principles. Just like how we take vaccine for protecting us from infectious disease, like for COVID vaccine, we all took vaccine. For COVID disease, we took vaccine. In the same way, our daily sadhana, our daily chanting, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, deity worship, eating only Krishna Prasad is like a vaccine that will shield us from the attack of Maya. And if the shield is broken, then Maya will attack us. So reducing sadhana is like a yellow light. We have these traffic lights. So reducing sadhana is a yellow light. It should make us alert. But then, if we don't pay attention to it, the next thing that comes is a red light. Red light is danger. So the next second R that comes into our life is R stands for reasoning. So justifying reducing our standards. So instead of being humble and saying, oh yes, I'm struggling, I want to improve, I need some help, we say, oh, it's okay. Sometimes if I don't do my chanting, we find valid excuses. Like, oh, yesterday my health was not good, I had a lot of office work, so I could not chant. That's okay. So this justification and reasoning and finding excuses is like a red light. So Bharat Maharaj was also thinking that, oh, this deer, he's interrupting my sadhana, but it's okay. I have to take care of the deer, and this deer has taken shelter of me. So even if it distracts me, that's okay. So like that he was thinking. So if our sadhana reduces, but if our attitude is correct, attitude means no, this is not right. What I did was wrong. I should not have eaten that, or I should not have gone in the association of those people. We have that guilty feeling. Then we can come back. We will not fall down. And also, if we understand that we have some problems and we share with others with open heart, like I need help from others, so we try to get help. So in that way, we will not fall down. So that's why Prabhupada says that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Our attitude should be humble attitude. We should admit our shortcomings. But if our attitude is that I am okay, everything is fine, then the third R will come into our life. Then third R is ritualistic. So doing our devotional practices mechanically, our japa very mechanically, just to finish it. We have no interest in it. We're not getting any taste in it, no feelings, and just to finish the job, we do those practices. So Bharat Maharaj, he was also pretending to be meditating, but his mind was attached to the deer. So even while doing meditation, we heard that time to time he will get up and he will check where the deer is. So like while we are chanting, time to time we check our phones and see we have WhatsApp messages like that. So we become ritualistic in our sadhana. And then the fourth hour comes into our life, which is most dangerous. We become restless. Chanting stops. Devotional practices, they stop. But we say to others, oh, I have done my 16 rounds. We become hypocritic. And Bharat Maharaj, he could not continue the practice, his devotional practice, because he was ritualistically doing his practices. He was not feeling any taste in it. So ultimately, if we don't feel taste or bliss in our spiritual practices, then we will leave them. So like that, these are the 4 R's of fall down. So sometimes fall down can happen, but fall down should not lead to fall away. What does that mean? Is that fall down happens, we can get up, we can bounce back if we have the proper attitude, we seek help. But if we become too dejected or too disheartened, I cannot do this, we become hopeless. Oh, I fell down, I cannot do this. Then that leads to fall away. So Krishna says in Bhagavatam, this verse comes in, which is on the screen, that we should not become hopeless. Having awakened faith in the narrations of my glories and being disgusted in all material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still not being able to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Even though he sometimes is engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee, he knows that all sense gratification leads to miserable result, and he sincerely repents such activities. So, if fall down happens, we repent such activities, and we understand that it's not a good thing that we did, but very enthusiastically being happy, we continue our devotional practices. We never give up on Krishna consciousness because there is no other option. Like if we fall down on earth, we use the earth to get up, right? So this is the process which will, rise us again, raise us again. So never to give up Krishna consciousness. Okay, so I'm done with this. Anybody else wants to add to this lesson?
I want to ask a question.
Mhm.
If somebody is like taking our positive energies and vibrations for we are absolutely positive into devotion, and we have strong energies powers with us, but the other person wants our energies to be transferred into another, the body of another. Is it possible? Does it work? Like if somebody is snatching your aura energies, is it possible?
No, no, nobody can do that. You should understand that if somebody is protected by Krishna, somebody is chanting the holy name, and he's protected by all these negative forces, like we were discussing about vaccination, right? We are shielded, and our sadhana is our shield. Nobody can do any harm, nobody can do any tantra, mantra, or steal our energies because we are protected, we are under the shelter of Krishna. So we have to take shelter of the holy name, and reading scriptures will be protected.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to mention one thing. I think I read somewhere that Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that the devotee should, you are saying that, one should spend time chanting in the Brahma Muhurat and all. So it says that a devotee should make a regular practice and should spend some time alone in a quiet place and just concentrate on the holy name, hear them very distinctly and nicely, because it is it is impossible for the jivas to single-handedly avoid the overcome of illusion and this maya and the distractions. So we chant, we spend some time alone with Krishna and hear the holy name, and we can pray. So by the mercy of the Lord, we can um, accomplish this with, um, with ease.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Also, I was so he had reduced sadhana. Maybe he had reduced. He had also distracted sadhana. So Prabhupada, I was reading this, in the where does he say in the fifth? He says just a mere show of worship will not lead to any. So he was doing, but like as you mentioned, ritualistic. So it was distracted sadhana. So distracted sadhana will also not. We should try to bring our mind to Krishna. And one time Prabhupada was asked, "What is the greatest obstacle to spiritual life?" And he said,
You.
"Yeah, he said the greatest obstacle is
Is
you."
you.
Yeah. So our mind, basically, our mind is the greatest obstacle. We ourselves are our greatest obstacle. So we have to become our own guru in the sense that we have to guide ourselves by the instruction of Shastra, the Vaishnavas, the sadhus, like that. So we have to correct ourselves when we are doing wrong. And another thing is to become absorbed in anything, you have to have urgency. So, urgency of the situation, to become serious about anything, you have to have urgency and realize the value of the thing that you have. So, like in our exam, we are like not distracted, right? Because it's a very serious thing, right? My exam will determine my destiny, where I will go, whether I'll get my admission in this line or that line or whatever. So I'm not usually distracted in my exam. So it's a very it's going to affect my outcome. So whenever we do our devotional services, we should be very careful and very attentive, because this is going to determine how my life will go and how my anarthas will get cleared. So urgency gives absorption. So that's also, and knowing the nature of this material world and the bigger picture and all these things, that will give absorption in sadhana. We have to remember this. So we have to read Prabhupada's books every day. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so lesson number 4. Maya is very powerful. So Prabhupada said the problem with my disciples is that they are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. In one purport, he writes that sadhaka should fear a fall down and constantly pray for protection. So, like one time, Prabhupada was in a lecture and he said, I can never fall down. And then he was praying to a deity, to the deities, and one disciple asked, Prabhupada, what are you praying for? And he said, I am praying to Krishna that please let me not fall down. But then the disciple said, you just told us in the lecture that you can never fall down. Prabhupada said, yes, because I am praying to Krishna for protection. He will save me from falling down. So we should pray to Krishna for protection. Having confidence is okay, but if you are overconfident, then Maya will attack. Like if you say, I'm chanting since past 10 years, 16 rounds every day, Maya cannot attack me. Like they say that if you keep butter in the fridge for 10 years and you take it out and you put it next to fire, will the butter not melt? It will. So no matter how many years we have done our sadhana, we have to be very careful. In Bhagavatam, we will discuss this verse. It comes in Canto 5. This verse was saying that there may be great philosophers and great teachers who are very experienced, and they are completely convinced about the futility of material enjoyment, and also they are preaching the same, and they can convince others about the futility of material enjoyment. Still, Lord's Maya is so strong that it can bewilder even such exalted personalities. So we should feel ourselves very vulnerable, and we should constantly pray to Krishna for help. Like this prayer is there, which is on the screen. Samsara kupe patitotyagade mohanda purne vishayabhitapte karavalambham mama dehi Vishnu Govinda damodar madhaveti. So the devotee is praying that, oh Krishna, I have fallen down into this deep dark well of material life, and I am tormented by so many desires, material desires. Oh Govind, oh Damodar, oh Madhav, please grant me your supporting hand, you uplift me. So this cartoon is here. Trusting Krishna won't make the mountain smaller, but it will make the climbing easier. With Krishna's hand helping us, supporting us, coming out of this well. So you might think, where is Maya in my life? So some devotee said, or Prabhupada said, just pick up your bead bag and see what thoughts enter your mind. So once you pick up your bead bag, so many thoughts enter your mind. That's all Maya. Bharat Maharaj had one deer, but there are so many deers in our life that are taking our attention away. And Maya checks our weaknesses and it attacks at our weak points and exploits us. And Radhanath Maharaj was saying that Maya creeps very subtly in our life. Little by little, it creeps in and takes over everything. Like Prabhupada gives this story of a Arab man with a camel. On a very cold night in a desert, here this picture is there. This Arab man was in his tent and it was very warm. He had a fire inside the tent. So he was keeping himself warm. Then came a camel, and this camel was feeling very cold, and it told this Arab man, can I come into the tent? Or this Arab man saying, no, this tent is big enough for only one person. You cannot come in. So, but the camel says, okay, I cannot come in. Can I just put in my nose inside the tent? Just my nose. So Arab said, okay, fine, just put your nose. And then after some time, the camel says, can I put my eyes? I'm feeling very cold. Can I put my eyes inside my tent? Just my eyes. And says, okay, just your eyes. And then after some time, he says, can I put my front legs inside the tent? And then, little by little, this camel came inside the tent and was warm with a fire, but the Arab was outside the tent in cold, freezing in cold. So this story, it tells us how we have to be very careful and not allow even little gap for Maya to enter our lives. Now this is how habits form, like little by little, like drug how people become drug addicts. They taste the drug a little bit, smoke a little, and then after some time they have become addicts. So this addiction, it can be to these unfavorable things like smoking, drinking, drinking tea and coffee, eating outside, or addiction to some people also who take our attention away from Krishna. So Maya is very powerful because it is Krishna's energy. Krishna says, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Durattaya. This divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender to me can easily cross beyond it. So Maya's job is to test how serious we are. More serious we are becoming in bhakti, more serious tests that Maya will give us. Because Krishna only is sending his Maya to test, to test us. Because Krishna wants to see that amidst of all the temptations and all the allurements, we still choose him above anything else. So, like we have multiple rounds of interview in the company to filter out the right candidate. So, Krishna is also sending so many obstacles. So, we can see this picture here. We think that our road to Krishna is smooth, but actually, this is how the Maya will plan so many obstacles on our path to reach to Krishna, to test us whether we are ready. Um, so, like we say that don't be surprised of how many people leave Krishna consciousness, but be surprised how many people stay in Krishna consciousness, because Maya is very strong. Krishna consciousness is very rare. So we have to fight with Maya till the last moment of our life. Krishna consciousness is full struggle. You cannot say that, okay, 6 years I have done full hard work. In few months or few days I can relax. No. So like, example is given, if we are bicycling, going up the hill, we have to put in a lot of hard work and we have to pedal the cycle, right? And we get success and we are rising up the hill. But then if we say that I have worked so hard for so long, let me relax for a moment. If we relax even for a little
Uh,
moment, hmm,
I have a question. So before
yeah.
I forget, I wanted to ask the question actually. What are the examples of false bhakti and the correct devotion?
False bhakti, no, I didn't get you.
So, like there is false bhakti, and then there is one correct way of devotion, right? So, bhakti means devotion only, it's non different. So, what is false bhakti and what is true bhakti?
Yeah, so true bhakti is when we are body, mind, and words all dedicated to Krishna, not just externally doing some bhakti practices, ritualistically, but also where is your mind and body, mind, and words dedicated to Krishna is full surrender to Krishna. Versus false is like you are pretending that you are doing something, bhakti, but your mind is somewhere else. Okay,
So, your
so
false bhakti would be like someone is some person, like recently there was a girl who spoke to me. She's 22 years old and she was into talks with a guy for 6 months online, and it did not work out between them. And
mm,
then she started saying that this guy did not even meet her once, did not even speak with her once, but still he promised her so many things. And she prayed to Krishna that everything may happen, but it didn't happen. So why is that? So that girl's name was Bhakti only. She spoke to me, and I explained her that she should have spoken to her parents. But for defending bhakti, our bhakti, my bhakti towards Krishna, Lord Krishna, that's my personal thing. So how do I convince others that what devotional services I have given to God is not incorrect, when they compare themselves to me.
Prabhu, Prabhu, did you get the question?
No, can you say again briefly what is exactly you asking?
Yes, Prabhu. So the thing is, like some days ago, a woman named Bhakti, she contacted me and she spoke to me about Lord Krishna's devotion in respect for fulfilling her wishes, that she's in talks with a guy for 6 months online and it did not work out between them. The guy became cold and non-responsive. So what should she wait for him, or what should she do? I advised her to go to her parents and search for another guy. But she said that then bhakti is not true, because she spoke to me since I am in devotional services towards Lord Krishna. So how do I defend myself? Because praying to Lord Krishna, for me, it's completely out of expectations. Like I'm not expecting anything in return. I am thankful that I am able to be a devotee. Like I'm trying to be a devotee. So I don't know how to defend myself in front of these kind of false bhakti delivering women or men.
So this girl Bhakti told you that it is false. What she told you that it is false, that
Yeah,
the
yeah,
relationship didn't work out.
yes,
So I did. So what is the?
yes. She told me.
She told your Bhakti, whose Bhakti is false.
She said that this bhakti is false because to Lord Krishna it cuts off the relations and it breaks marriages.
Oh, Krishna doesn't fulfill the desires. Is that what you're
Mhm.
saying? So that's
Yeah,
why.
maybe losing faith in Krishna,
Mm.
that he didn't help me in that situation, or it didn't go according to my plan.
Maybe it was
But
not good for her to get married. Maybe you don't know
yeah,
further down the line
yeah, we
what
don't
might
know
happen.
people. Like, it was not a good person for her. So Krishna actually protected her. But we are just blinded by our own material desires. We think that why did Krishna not give me that? Like, if a child will ask mother for poison, will the mother give poison to the child? Mother will not, because she loves the child. So we should have faith in Krishna that whatever he does in our life is best for us, and let go of our material desires. Ultimately, we have to all become attached to Krishna. Even if we get a nice husband, it's all temporary situation and things can change, right? And the same relationship can give us so much trouble and distress. So we should increase our devotion, and you should tell her more about Krishna. So she chant Krishna's name, ultimately fall in love with Krishna, and whatever Krishna gives her, be satisfied with that.
And I think Srila Prabhupada mentioned, I think in the Bhagavad Gita first chapter, that materialistic people consider Bhagavan as a order supplier. He used the word order supplier, meaning, as Mataji said, we have our own expectation and we want Bhagavan to be just a supplier. And if that supply is not done, then we lose faith. So this is again not really a love. Love means unconditional love, right? Like mother has for the child. So when we have this based on some order supplier mechanism, meaning I order, and again it's not necessary. When we ask Bhagwan, we expect Bhagwan to fulfill immediately. Bhagwan can take his own time because it's a Bhagwan. He decide when to fulfill what. He know what we really need and not like what we want. So so then the false
Okay.
bhakti, I feel it is not based on the true love, right? It is based on selfish motives, whatever it could be.
So if some guy has betrayed me for his selfish motives and I have been a devotee of Lord Krishna, and I will feel that why Lord Krishna allowed that guy to betray me. So what would be the further consequences? Like what will happen?
So whatever the Mataji just
Is
explained, right? I mean, if such things are happening, then Krishna is probably protecting devotee. We don't know whether that person is bad or not. So Krishna, in whichever form, try to help us. When we say we are devotee, means uh, it's not just word, right? It is on a daily basis. We are trying to perform the devotional services consistently with love and devotion. If those things are done, and then Krishna protects. That's what Mataji just mentioned. That we may see, oh, Krishna is not helping, but after some time, if we look back in our life, we may see, yeah, Krishna was truly helping.
I have
Yeah.
a request that let Mataji finish her presentation first, and we all can discuss probably
Yeah, that's
if
okay.
that's
I mean, that's okay. We already we are doing this format this time. That's okay. So what I was also thinking that everything in this material world is meant to frustrate us, and this frustration takes us closer to Krishna, and we ultimately say, "Nothing gives me happiness, and nobody is mine." That is a good thing. Even if things don't work out in our way and we become frustrated, frustration leads to detachment from this material world. If we become attached, and if we have a very nice relationships in this material world, and we become attached in that relationship, then we are not able to go back home, back to Godhead, because we are still attached to people and things. So that's okay. If frustration happens in our life, it's a good thing for us. We should become attached to Krishna.
There are examples of Kunti in our scriptures. Kunti went through so much, you know, and she more and more she went through the sufferings. She became more and more closer to Krishna. I mean, she said, in the end, give me more miseries, give me more pain. So, so pain helps get closer to Krishna, because then we really, remember Krishna even more. We pray more. So it is all these things we just have to take as Krishna's prasad. Krishna, this is Krishna's prasadam, that we, whatever way we are tested, it's it's just we just have to have that unflinching taste, devotion, and that will take care of everything. It's just that, yes, we are not that strong mentally. Sometimes we get distracted by all these frustrations, but we we have to make ourselves strong, one day at a time, and remember all these things from our scriptures, that how those people who were totally so exalted, still they went through so much.
Hmm. Yeah. Then who are we in front of them? Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So we were discussing how spiritual life is like climbing up the mountain, bicycling up. We have to pedal to have success, keep pedaling. And even if for one moment we say we need to relax, what will happen? We'll fall down because it's up the mountain, uphill we are going. So we cannot relax even for one moment. Otherwise, Maya will enter our life. Radhanath Maharaj was saying that, it's like when there is a servant in your house and the servant works very sincerely. He's a very faithful servant. He's working hard for so many years for you. He doesn't even complain and doesn't even charge any salary. But one day, this servant says to you, I am leaving. I'm leaving you. Um, and so, what you would do if the servant says, I'm leaving? You will make your full attempt to stop him because he's such a faithful servant, right? So, like that, we have served Maya for many, many lifetimes very faithfully. We have been a very faithful servant of Maya. And when we say to Maya, Maya, no more you, only Krishna, I'm leaving your service, right? So, Maya will make all her attempts. She applies all the tips and tricks and games so that she keeps us with her, captures us. So, like that. So, as we said, Bharat Maharaj, he had one deer, but we have many deers that distract us from Krishna. So, we have to check who that deer is, who is or what is coming between us and Krishna. It can be our smartphone, it can be our family members, or any person, or our material desires. And Keshav Swami Maharaj was saying one nice thing here. I put it. Okay, I didn't. Don't give up. Don't give up what you want most. Here I have this on this picture. Don't give up what you want most for what feels good right now. So we want most is Krishna Prem, to go back to Godhead, to be with Radha and Krishna and to play with them, dance with them in the Nitya Leela. And for that we have to resist all temptations, temporary, enjoyment. Like Chanakya Pandit says, one who gives up eternal for the temporary, ultimately he loses both. But one who gives up temporary for the eternal loses nothing. So we should understand what is our eternal benefit, Shreyas, versus temporary sense enjoyment, Prayas. Okay, so this picture is there. This person's every day the Maya will drag your hand, yelling, "This is important. This is important. This is you need to worry about this and this and this." Maya will tell you, but every day you need to yank your hand back and put it in your chanting bag and say, "No, only chanting is important." Right? Because it will take me to Krishna. Only chanting is important. So many thoughts come to our mind while chanting. Okay, anybody wants to add to this lesson? Maya is very powerful.
Yeah, I was also remembering Prabhupada says, somebody asked him, right, why is Maya so strong?
Yeah, because your purpose is not strong. Yeah. Mm. Okay. All right. So lesson number
Like
5. Yes.
the lessons that we can keep on adding for distraction from Maya, it's like immeasurable. Like we can, as many we keep on adding, it will still be very low because Maya is extremely powerful.
Hmm. Okay. So Prabhu, I can continue maybe tomorrow. You can read few verses of Bhagavatam if you want to. I've done 1 hour already, so
We can,
we can.
no, it's okay if you want to finish it.
I can do half tomorrow, so half is remaining. I can do tomorrow.
Okay. Hmm. Share screen here. Okay, so also that example of there is there, right? Devki represents the devotee and Kans represents. So the Maya, the fear, right? We have that example of Devki and Kans
Correct.
represents
The
materialistic fear.
the Sadgarbhas got destroyed. Like the Sadgarbhas are lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy. When we are fearful of material existence, then all these anarthas are destroyed.
So we should be fearful. Yeah, life can take any turn, and for so many people, it's in difficult situation. It can take turn like that for us also. And so while it is okay, means we are healthy and things have not fallen apart completely, then we should take spiritual life very seriously, because there'll come a time when things will fall apart. That's the material world. Everything gets destroyed here. Everything goes downhill. So so that's how we should take that today is an opportunity, and I can do as much as I can do today, because tomorrow what will bring, I don't know. So we should not procrastinate and say, okay, I'll put off. They say things that matter the most should not be at the mercy of things that matter least. So what matters most is our relationship with Krishna and getting out of this cycle of birth and death. That matters most. Other things are not such high priority. So this thing should be first. Other things, yeah, they can also be done in to support the main thing. So that's how it should be. But we should find time exclusively for sadhana, like so that it can be focused. Even when we do like exclusive sadhana, still we can become distracted. So what if we multitask, right? Sometimes people say, I chant during driving, I chant my rounds during driving. Oh, that's not very good. I mean, it's better that you are not chanting than you are chanting during driving. But if you want to become a good, you want to please Krishna more, good devotee, then you want to give him some time, exclusive time, not with some other things and like multitasking. And that means Krishna thinks also that, yeah, it's one of you giving me some thing, but you're also doing other things at the same time. So exclusivity is what Krishna wants. Mam ekam sharanam raja. So at least for some time every day we chant whatever rounds we have decided to chant. We chant with exclusivity. And then other times you chant all the time as much as possible. So okay. So the next verse will read. तथैव राजन् उरुगारमेध वितान विद्योरु विजृम्भितेषु न वेदवादेषु हि तत्त्ववादः प्रायेण शुद्धो नु चकास्ति साधुः. My dear king talks of the relationship between the master and the servant, the king and the subject, and so forth, are simply talks about material activities. People interested in material activities, which are expounded in the Vedas, are intent on performing material sacrifices and placing faith in their material activities. For such people, spiritual advancement is definitely not manifest. So, there is a lot of section of the Vedas which deals with karma kanda, where you do all these sacrifices for getting material things, and you can worship Krishna also for material gain. Still, it's good. At least Bhagavatam says akama sarvak, but it's not the highest. So spiritual advancement becomes slow when we are not doing it solely for the pleasure of Krishna, but we have material motives and things like that, and desires, other desires for sense gratification. So spiritual advancement takes some time. It becomes slow. It's like, you are running, but you are having a big load on your shoulder which you are not willing to drop. So that's why you don't go too far. Although you try to run very fast, but if you have a big load on your shoulder, you have to drop. Like you may be eating very nicely, but if there are worms in the stomach, then you will not derive any nutrition from your eating, because the worms are taking up all the, like you sometimes have tapeworm, whatever, which worm is there in the stomach. Sometimes there are worms in the stomach, and so you have to take deworming. So similarly, when our consciousness is like towards material enjoyment, then it will take long time to make spiritual advancement. So we have to voluntarily, that's why it is said to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. So we have to voluntarily drop. And of course, devotional service helps us drop, but there is on our part we have to do also. We have to say, no, I don't want this. So no to Krishna, no to Maya, and yes to Krishna. Then it will be faster. Otherwise, Krishna will have to arrange like situations in your life, because you are trying to become a devotee. Krishna will have to arrange situations in your life through which you will learn, and it will take some time. But if you are intelligent, then you drop it immediately. So But it's not so easy to drop because we have been conditioned so many in such a, like, what is that? Thoughts will become desires, desires will become
Thoughts
action,
will become words.
words.
Words will become action. Action will become habit. Habit will become character. Character will become destiny.
So after you, in English they say habits die hard. We form the wrong habits and the wrong mentality and all wrong conception. Then it's very difficult to change because we have developed that kind of thing. So before all these things happen, you can nip it in the bud. That's easier. So yeah, so fire, disease, and death should be done with immediately. Chanakya Pandit says. So disease also, this is our disease. This material desires is the symptom of the disease. All these material desires. We think these material desires are part of my actual personality and this is who I am, and but actually this is a disease. The symptom is material desires. And that's why we are rotating in cycle and we are getting one body after another. So we can pray to Krishna to take away all material desires, but we should also be willing to drop them. Then only it will work. Because you can pray, pray, but you're not sincere in your heart and you don't want to drop it. And Krishna knows also. And then he may arrange a situation because you're praying. So Krishna may arrange a situation. So ultimately we have to drop. And we want to become pure. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam. The goal is to become a pure devotee. So in this verse, we can't be desireless, but we can be we can have all spiritual desires. In this verse, two words are significant: Vedavada and Tattvavada. According to Bhagavad Gita, those who are simply attached to Vedas and who do not understand the purpose of the Vedas or the Vedanta Sutras are called Vedavada Rataha. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadyanti avipashchitah Vedavada Rata Partha Nanyadastiti Vadinah कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फल प्रदाम क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगेश्वर्य गतिम प्रति. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. So they want, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say there is nothing more than this. So their whole success of life is how they can get a nice situation for enjoyment, material enjoyment. So that is the whole. Of course, we also say we want to get a nice situation, free from misery. But that is the ultimate nice situation. In the spiritual sky, it's the ultimate nice situation. Whereas in heavenly planets, it's a nice situation, but only temporarily. But in the spiritual world, it's a nice situation eternally. And okay, we may say it's a nice situation because there is a lot of sense gratification, but it will not satisfy the soul also. That's why it's also a bad situation. Because until we are engaged in relationship with Krishna in service, we will not be satisfied. That is how we are made. So that's why Indra also has anxiety, and the whole material world is made like that. Everybody has anxiety because they're not satisfied. So we are part and parcel of Krishna. So no way the part can be satisfied unless the whole is served. Right? There is no other way you can find happiness, right, without serving the whole. Because that is how our constitutional position is. We are Mamei Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana means eternally. We are part of Krishna. So that can never change. Jivere Swarupai Krishna Nitya Das. Nitya means eternally. That cannot change. It is our constitutional position is like that. So when we go against our constitutional position, we have a lot of problems. As we experience in this material world, We are not in our constitutional position, in our constitutional consciousness. So all kinds of problems are coming. And anxiety is there and all these things, disturbances. So we have to, Krishna consciousness means to come back to our constitutional position. Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavastiti. Then we are liberated. The Vedavad followers of the Vedas are generally inclined to karma kanda. So we can hold our nose directly with our hand, or we can go around our head and then hold our nose. Ultimately, you have to hold your nose. So ultimately, we have to serve Krishna. So and surrender to Krishna. So it can take a long time, and then we go through so much suffering and so many things. At the end, we come and say, "Oh Krishna, I surrender to you." Or somebody is intelligent, say no, immediately. Yes, this is not working out. Of course, we have to get some experience because we don't believe Krishna's words immediately. So we get some experience. It's not working out. So I'll serve. Like this bhakti, this girl, she should think it's not working out. Maybe I should surrender to Krishna. So material life doesn't work. And it works for some time, then it falls apart because everything is temporary. So you try to keep everything together, and it is dismantled by time. So it's a struggle. So better to just take shelter of Krishna and give up the hope that material life will ever work. And if it works only for some time, and then at the end you have to give it up. So the more you give up hope in material promises and whatever material life has to give, and then more we can put our faith in Krishna. So more we give up hope in this material existence, the more we can put our faith in Krishna. Yes, there is nothing this has to offer me. There is nothing. It's all like a dream, and I'm just passing through. There's nothing to be done really here, materially speaking. So then you can become calm and peaceful and serve Krishna very peacefully and not be in anxiety. So the Vedavada followers of the Vedas are generally inclined to karma kanda, the performance of sacrifice according to the Vedic injunctions. They are thereby promoted to higher planetary systems. They generally practice the Chaturmasya system. They follow the 4-month Chaturmasya. They get higher elevation to higher. Akshayam ha vai Chaturmasya yajina sukritam bhavati. One who performs the Chaturmasi yajna becomes pious. By becoming pious, one may be promoted to higher planetary systems. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Some of the followers of the Vedas are attached to karma kanda, the fruitive activities of the Vedas, in order to be promoted to a higher standard of life. So we do Satya Narayan. If you have some obstacle in our life, then people say you should do Satya Narayan Puja, so that obstacle will be removed from your life. Yes, it's because we all want to have a happy life. And so, but yeah, that's why I was saying yesterday, we worship Ganesh first thing, because we want to remove all obstacles in our life so that we can enjoy nicely. That's why nobody likes obstruction to their enjoyment. But in spiritual life, there is a different kind of enjoyment, and this cannot be obstructed. So you can become happy even you are in the midst of the greatest worst material situation, but you can be happy if we chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada says, if you chant Hare Krishna, you'll never be unhappy in any condition of life if you chant Hare Krishna. So externally things may not, but if you chant Hare Krishna, you'll never be unhappy. That means you engage in devotional service, right? That never be unhappy. A devotee is very blissful and joyful.
Yeah, we read this verse yesterday in our Bhagavad Gita. Yasmin sthito na dukhena guruna api vichalyate. He is never shaken even in midst of greatest difficulty. Yam labdava chaparam labham. And
So
he
though,
thinks that there is no greater gain in this bhakti.
yes, a very elevated state of consciousness. Actually, all this will be tested. How much one is spiritually advanced is tested when difficulties come in life. Then it's easy for me to say I'm saying like that. Then how much we take shelter of Krishna when
Mm.
difficulties come, right? That's the
Keshav Swami Maharaj is right. Your advancement is shown by two things.
mm,
Uh, who do you take shelter of in difficulty? And what do you do when you are alone?
yeah,
Nobody is watching you.
mm, correct. So these are some mock exams before we get the final exam. So this is showing our preparation. So others argue that this is not the purpose of the Vedas. Yadateva iha karmachitha loka shiyate evam punyajita loka. In this world, someone may become very highly elevated by taking birth in an aristocratic family, by being well educated, beautiful, or very rich. These are the gifts of for pious activities enacted in the past life. However, this will be finished when the stock of pious activities is finished. Shine punya martya lokam vishanti. If we become attached to pious activities, we may get these various worldly facilities in next life and may take birth in heavenly planets. But all this will be eventually finished. Shine punya Shine punye martya lokam vishanti. When the stock of pious activity is finished, one again has to come to the this martya loka. According to the Vedic injunctions, the performance of pious activity is not really the objective of the Vedas. The objective of the Vedas is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Vedesha sarver aham eva vedya. The objective of Vedas is to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are Vedavadis and who are not actually advanced in knowledge, and those who are followers of Jnanakanda, Brahman understanding, are also not perfect. However, when one comes to the platform of Upasana and accepts the worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes perfect. Aradnanam sarvesham Vishnu Aradnam param. In the Vedas, the worship of different demigods and the performance of sacrifice are certainly mentioned. But such worship is inferior because the worshippers do not know that the ultimate goal is Vishnu. Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. That's why Krishna is saying in one verse in Bhagavad Gita, those who worship the demigods, they are less intelligent. They don't know. And they are doing it in avidhi purvakam. Antavant antavanta tu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedasham.
Devam deva yujuyanti yanti madhyajinopima.
And what is the avidhi purvakam verse? They do so in a wrong way.
Wrong way. So that is ye apyanya devata bhakta. Vijantu shraddhayanvita. Tepi mam eva kaunteya jante avidhipurvakam.
So Krishna is saying they worship me but in a wrong way. So sometimes if you want to feed, Prabhupada says, if you want to put food, if you want to feed yourself, the actual way to feed yourself is through your mouth. But sometimes, they will put us hole in the stomach and feed, or I don't know, in the hole in the neck or something when you can't take. They give nutrition other ways, but that is not the right way to feed the stomach, right? So the actual way to feed the stomach is to take food through the mouth. So somebody may say, well, I have 9 holes in the body, so I can put food in the body through any of the holes. No, that is not the way. The actual way is to, so similarly, the actual way is to worship Krishna, not worship the demigods. So it is, Krishna says they are doing this, but in an indirect way. So they are not actually. Yeah, Prachi want to say something. Okay, she text. Okay. Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, actually, Prabhu, there was this guy who betrayed in terms of marriage, and like he went to other women instantly, and so like I was not able to understand what is actually the truth or what, and I waited for a lot of days to get some clarity. But the only thing I came to know was that he is a betraying kind of a guy. So what is the guidance here? What, like, how would you go for the counseling if I am in the right place, or what is the wrong thing? Like, I'm not able to understand.
So,
I can say something just for 1 second,
mhm,
that
yeah,
that lady has to thank God, thank Krishna, thank Bhagwan that she was protected from such situation. It was not meant to be. There is a reason. She doesn't know the reason why she was protected. So she has to be thankful and just keep praying. Don't give, don't lose the faith. Keep praying. But there is something good in it. She has to believe in that. That is the way I think to go. But I mean, this is just my my feeling. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Krishna protected from. So, yeah, this is a lot of cheating happens in this world. So we should expect that in this.
99% of the people are cheaters. But we feel pain because we have our own material desires. We think that this person will give me happiness, which is not true. It's like a mirage in a desert. There is water, but there isn't actually. Means there is no happiness that other people can give us. We have to find our own happiness, be self satisfied in our worship to Krishna, and seek reciprocation from Krishna. Ultimately, Krishna is our only husband. These other people, they will leave us, they will cheat us. They say they make you, if you make friendship with Krishna, you will never be cheated. So why should we give our heart to anybody else? We should only give it to Krishna. Then we will never be cheated. So build your relationship with Krishna and you will remain strong for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you will always be weak because you are seeking happiness from other person. Other people will have the key to control you and your emotions.
Yeah, and like, yeah, somebody wants to get married, then you have to do your due diligence. Uh, but if after doing all the due diligence, you still may not know everything about the nature of the person, and natures can change also, right? So uh, it's all. I mean, at the time of marriage, it may be nice, and then that's how marriages also end in divorce. Also, the natures are become. They realize, oh, this is not. We are incompatible, and so many things and like that. So it's, yeah, it's a kind of a gamble kind of situation. You never know how people will change and things will happen.
Yeah, and we have come in Dukhalyam, right? This is what is material world. It's a place of misery. So Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adi Atmic miseries. Adi Bhautik people will give you miseries. That's why we are here. Because we left Krishna. So what else we can expect? It's expected.
And in
So,
a very practical way, that if you actually desired something, getting married, have a strong desire to get married. So sometimes we have to just leave things. Just running after that, it's better to just stay and leave things, because if something belongs to you, it will come to you. If it's in your destiny, it will come to you. And then you have, because if something in a desire you really wanted, then maybe there's a judgment, discrimination will not. I mean, it's perfect. So it's better to just leave it everything, stay and wait. If anything meant for you, it will come to you somehow. And just just don't bother and don't running after that. So I mean, in a practical way, we can do this.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think one more suggestion: if you are working in some companies, they call employee assistance program.
Hmm.
So you can call their number, and they have counselors who can also help.
Yeah, there are marriage counselors and things like that. So
Yeah, the therapists, they are counselors, and you know, you you can talk to few of them, and they also help professionally, who are trained for helping.
Yeah, but that kind of counseling really does not help you because they don't connect you to Krishna. Ultimately,
Yeah, yeah,
connection with Krishna will solve all your problems. Therapy and all, then depressed people are going there, but it's not solving the root cause. Is our facing away from Krishna. Our we not being attracted to Krishna is the root cause to all the problems. So,
yeah.
chanting, hearing about Krishna, developing your love for Krishna, doing your sadhana, bhakti practices, going to the temple, being in the association of devotees is the solution to all problems.
No, I agree, right? So if you are on the devotional path, then yes, this is the route as you're suggesting, right? If somebody is still, in initial stages, they can get
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, if yeah, so the psychiatric issues are there, depression is there, so you
Yeah.
can seek professional help in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what to make of those managers like in WNS, Kiwi.com? Like they promise marriage to so many female employees and they waste their time and they make them believe that they are the similar like our own lifestyle. And then there are marriage counselors in that company, there's everything. And then they say that, yeah, okay, go ahead. And then finally, ultimately, the manager betrays the females, and with every other female, he's going to betray. He'll betray all the other women he's talking to right now. So, what to do of such people because they are connected to Krishna consciousness. They are doing services also, and then they are behaving in this manner. And the counselors are like those who are therapists, also psychologists, psychiatrists. They are also helpless in dealing with such cases. So there's no other answer to that situation actually.
let's hear from Madhav Kantaprabhu what he is, if he's there. He's there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, you want to say anything?
At the last point, I didn't understand quietly. Are you saying the devotees who are also marriage counselors, they are not helping? Is that last point?
No.
Okay. So that counseling you are referring is some manager in corporate, is it?
Counselors are professionally trained, right? Those who are working professionally in corporates or in different organizations, and when they are analyzing how to help the victim, for example, if I am victim and if they are going to counsel me, then I need to give them the complete idea. And these counselors are well aware of these kind of managers because these managers have been working in the company for 14, 15 years, and they have seen